In honor of February, I am highlighting love with showcasing marriages. Hopefully, you enjoy it. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe.
I'm Darnell, and this is my wife Lisa, and we're the bodies. And we have been married 9 years.
Oh yeah, so y'all are coming up on 10 years. Are y'all excited?
Seems like it's about 40 years.
Okay, what keeps you all together in your marriage when in society it shows that black love is not as good or it shows that marriage is just a piece of paper? What keeps you all going together to stay married for so long?
Well, I think that we have similar goals. We have the same moral values. We share a love for family, and we love our families, and we spend time with our families. Working towards like building wealth, having a home, saving money, and having good credit and all the things that you need to survive out here.
We still actually have fun though. We don't agree on everything. Actually, we probably don't agree on most things, but we still have fun, and it doesn't ruin, our relationship when we don't agree.
Do you feel like you should be friends before you start a relationship, or do you think that it's okay to just get in a relationship without kind of like being friends for so long?
I feel like you need that friendship in the beginning, and then let it mature and nurture, and then you take it to the next step or the next level. That's great. But I think you need to be friends and find out as much as you can about the person before you go date them or whatever.
Okay. What do you think are some green flags that people should be looking at if they're looking to like date or like go to the next level?
You said the green
flags. Yeah, we don't do red flags over here.
Well, you heard Lisa already said similar values and morals. And morals. And honestly, being strong in some of the areas that you're weak in yourself. So that
You
balance out. Yep. But again, though, like Lisa said earlier too, I think just with what do you really value? If do you value your family? Just being open and honest. If you want kids, different things like that, are you on the same page with some of that? That's what I think.
Okay, and so there's a lot going on with this new generation, okay, about like bills. You were talking about money and stuff like that, like splitting 50-50 and different things like that. Do you have any like tips or best ways to be like, okay, you should split or you shouldn't split, or like putting your finances together so early?
So I'm gonna say this: I don't think anything is truly 50-50. Nothing. However, though, I just think, I don't have a problem, even when we were dating, paying for Lisa, and she didn't have a problem paying for me. And it wasn't like she's obligated and things like that. Yeah, I want to normally play the traditional man role that, you're going out, you paying and stuff like that. But, I remember when we were dating, a few times, Lisa said basically, "Oh, I got this," or whatever. So, that actually makes a man feel good too, because you ain't just necessarily being used in that kind of way or whatever. So,
What about? Do you have an answer?
He said it was gonna say.
Okay.
I agree.
Okay. This is a big question. In regards to how we've been talking as family, like you are marrying your in-laws, your family, different things like that. Do you suggest? What if like people don't get along with their in-laws? Do you suggest that they get married? I'm not saying like do you suggest like tell them what to do, but like since you are like getting married to the family, the in-laws, and different things like that, and you want good relationships with them, do you feel like that is important, or do you feel like people can still thrive without having good relationships with the in-laws?
I think everybody's situation is different. It's good that we actually do get along with each other's in-laws, because that's actually what's important for us. That doesn't mean that that's always going to work out with other people's relationship. It's still the husband and the wife. That's the main core thing. And then it's also different dynamics. You also got to even look at children in it. You have that both people have children before we get married, but it's still, the thing is, I know with me and Lisa first, and then it's like the sons, stepsons, sons, whatever, and stuff. It's just a plus. It's the icing on the cake that we do have good relationships with our in-laws. But you don't have to have it, but I think you need to also be respectful if you don't have that relationship. And everybody, I think a lot of times with all relationships, and this is even with friendships, people need to have their boundaries. You have to let people know what the boundaries are. Whether that's going to be your father-in-law, mother-in-law, and even children or even other people that can affect your relationship, brothers, sisters. What are they boundaries? So you don't want anything to tear down what you and your spouse have.
Okay, yeah, that's really good. And with that, if someone watching this is either like engaged or thinking about dating, what is the first piece of advice that you all would tell them if they were thinking about starting to date, they want to look to date for marriage and stuff like that? What would you all tell them?
Ask as many questions as you can. Don't be afraid to ask questions. Listen and hear what they're saying, and always look at their family and their friends, their interactions and what's going on, because if you have a lot of drama or a lot of siblings and there's a lot of crazy stuff going on, like mental illness or people in and out of trouble, I would say you gotta look at that, because when you have kids and you mesh all that stuff together, it could be a whole bunch of drama. That's all I'm gonna say.
The main thing is, I would just say first is really know yourself, and don't, you're gonna compromise on some things, but know your non-negotiables. So it's things that I was just like, hey, I'm not compromising on. There's other things that you gotta recognize too, though, that where you may actually be immature at, that you actually need to mature, and then you actually probably need to actually compromise on, because all of us, you're not gonna have it all the way you want things, for me, I would just say you need to also have some type of relationship with God and actually and pray on stuff. Because to me, I think you need to pray for what you want, and honestly, you need to actually pray for pleasant surprises. Because there's gonna be things that you might not know to pray for, and then your spouse may have, and you might be like, "Dang, that's great." So I think you need to pray for all of that. But again, though, you got to know your non-negotiables. The things that you just really know you can't tolerate. And honestly, be willing to be honest. Lisa was talking about asking a lot of questions and stuff like that, and be vulnerable. Be yourself the whole time.
You talked about three things kind of. You talked about compromising, non-negotiables, and being vulnerable. And compromising comes up a lot, and I don't know if people really know what non-negotiables are in a sense. Like, can you give an example of a non-negotiable?
So for me, I won't date a woman that smokes.
Okay.
I don't care how fine she is or whatever. That's a non-negotiable for me.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and then probably even when I was younger, I would even say just honestly, a woman with kids when I was younger was a non-negotiable.
Mm-hmm.
But as I got older and more mature, you know, I ended up actually marrying a woman with kids.
Mm-hmm. So
And
your
I think-
non-negotiables
and I-
can
and I-
change.
Yep, and I think that was a blessing.
And then compromising. I feel like people hear compromising, they don't really know like what it looks like and different things like that. But compromising on, you don't have like a personal example. Do you know like, do you have an example of what compromising might look like?
I'm not just going to sit there and say that you give in,
Mm-hmm.
but I think more so that it's about understanding. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
You got to understand like where people come from. You got to put yourself, you know, it's more of putting yourself in other people's shoes and stuff like that, and then in things. To me, really more of the compromise is really just saying I'm willing to actually work together. We still ain't losing focus on what our goal is. We may have actually different ways of reaching them, or different methods or tactics or whatever you want to sit there and say. And you know, sit there and say, yeah, Lisa, we gonna do it your way, you know, and things like that. So it's really, you gotta be willing to, again, learn and grow.
Mm-hmm.
But you know, just still working. I just say, you know, you gotta work. You gotta remember, you ain't just yourself anymore. You actually working with something.
Okay, that was great. Thanks for the example. So this is just a fun question, and then we're gonna wrap it up. Do y'all have a favorite celebrity couple, or like a favorite like a couple that y'all look up to?
No.
Oh.
I don't. I know I don't. You know, so the things are, you know, so the people, you know, I admired the most on relationships and things like that, and got advice from more so would be like my grandparents and stuff like that. Both sets, you know, my dad's parents are dead, and my grandfather on my mom's side is dead too. But I just remember a lot of things that they actually said. I remember my one grandma basically saying, "Hey, the day you get married, you're gonna actually relearn like your wife."
Mm-hmm.
And stuff like that. And to me, that's like been so true, even though we dated and stuff like that. So it's just like everything, it's kind of like fresh after the day you actually say I do it, and stuff like that. So, and then too, you know, part of the thing, one of the other things was, it's easy to pull that cart with two mules going in the same direction than it is, say, by yourself. But again, the key though is you got to be going in the same direction.
Mm-hmm.
So that's one of the things that me and Lisa, you know, at times when you're sitting there saying, hey, again, go back to what you're focused on, and just say, hey, we gotta, you know, and it's not really how fast a lot of times we get there, you know, because we have our own plans and we want to get stuff real fast, but a lot of times God's plan may be, it's going to take you 4 years or 5 years to get somewhere when you were sitting there planning on 6 months, a year. But still though, we were still pulling that cart again in the same direction. It just may have been slow. So,
do you have a favorite couple, celebrity couple?
Not
Awesome.
that comes to mind, but I would like to say that when couples are dating or married, that sometimes you have to agree to disagree. And I know like Darnell and I are opposites, so opposites do attract.
You believe opposites attract?
Yes, we are opposite. But we have the same morals and values and family stuff. And spiritual stuff and church and God, we believe in all that kind of stuff. So that pulls us together.
So that's not the opposite.
Right.
Okay,
so
okay.
Like we have that kind of stuff in common. And we don't agree all the time. A lot of times we don't agree. But you have to pick and choose your battles. You can't win them all. So Just because somebody's the opposite doesn't mean they're not for you. You give them a chance, you know.
And what Lisa said there, to pick and choose your battle. My goal is not to win the battle all the time. You know, my goal is, honestly, my wife is a sounding board. So, you know, so even if it seems like I'm not listening, I am listening. Because when I sit there by myself, I'm like, oh, Lisa actually says this. Lisa, you know, I gotta always consider Lisa. It's really more so since Terrence and Tony are not in our house. It's mainly Lisa. It used to be also considering, you know, how it's going to really affect them. But it's just, you know, we're the empty nesters really now. So it's just like, hey, you know, it's really about us, and we're thinking more too about now about stuff like legacy and even our parents. You know, how are things, our decisions, how, you know, will they affect even my parents who are living, and Lisa's mom and stepdad as well. So that's how we actually, it is very few things that really, even though we're empty nesters, we're thinking about family. Like I said, me and Lisa have always been like that. We're thinking about the whole more so like a legacy. You know, even the grandson, you know, what are we gonna do, and how are we gonna help him? And not even our sons and grandsons. We're even thinking about like nieces, nephews, and stuff like that. You know, even cousins' kids and stuff. I'm just being honest with you. God blessed us, so we ain't thinking of, you know, so. We think a whole lot about the bigger things, not just the individual, you know, just me and her.
Okay, I like what you were saying about opposites attracting, but like not almost. Because I'd be like, I don't personally think opposites attract, but I don't know what people mean by opposites attract, but I like that you're saying that opposites aren't attracting, like mean that y'all don't have the same morals, the same values, and different things like that, and who you're looking up to. Because when people hear opposites attract, they just like, oh yeah, opposites attract, but I'm like, I don't know if opposites attract, because when I hear opposites attract, I'm like, oh, that means you don't got the same morals or same values as me. So I like that you said that. No, like the main thing is morals and values, but opposites attract. Like, I mean, you could like a house and I could like an apartment, kind of.
I can give you an example. When I met Darnell, and we were, even before we were dating, because we worked at the same company, but he would say stuff like this area is not my home, so this is like a starting block, but whoever marries me, they're gonna have to be able to not have a problem moving, traveling, you know, wherever his job take him, that's where he's going, and his spouse is got to be willing to go too. And so Darnell is a big time risk taker, and I'm not. That's what I mean by
That's really interesting that you said too, because you know my family they stay, well actually a lot of them moved, but you stayed in a long spot for a long time, and I feel like that is kind of different too, because me, I'm like, I'll go, and then what about somebody, they be like, I want to be here for the rest of my life. I'm like, who child? Okay.
And the way I would disagree with that is, to me, I'm not a risk taker. I'm a faith taker.
Okay.
That's how for real. So you know, like when I was like how old was I? Like 19. I moved to West Virginia. So my great grandmother, who's dead, she told me something way back then, and it's always, you know, treat people like you want to be treated. You know, it was one black family in the whole county when I lived in West Virginia. You know, Lisa's met that family before and stuff. But you know, once I went there and God took care of me and the people took care of me, it's been the same everywhere I've gone. So I'm not actually afraid to actually go to places and do new things and stuff like that, because it's always actually been a blessing. You know. To kind of get out of your comfort zone. You actually start getting more comfortable the more you do that. So, you know, so to me, it's not really about risk, because You know, as you even said before, my cousin Terrence told me the other week, saying, "Hey, God got me. I truly know God got me, no matter where I've gone. So it's not really a risk. You know, it's really like, hey, you gotta trust.
Mm-hmm.
So
Okay, that's a new one. What is it? Faith taker. That's a new one. Okay, not risk taker, faith taker. Okay. Yes. Well, thank y'all so much for being a part of this. I think it was really important too of what you were saying about couples, like how you said you don't have a celebrity couple. But I feel like now with social media and everything like that, like they're seeing all these celebrity couples. They're like, oh, goals and this like that, but they don't truly know like what's going on. Behind the scenes. But then you see a lot of toxicity on social media with relationships, and don't want to get married, but they want to be like, girls want to be baby mamas or baby daddies, and then it's like, okay, marriage is just not a piece of paper, but it's like, no, it's something, and it also can be beautiful if you want it to be. People have been married a long time and different things like that, so I just kind of want to put out like different stories to highlight and share for the younger generation to be like, okay, it can look like this or it can look like that. You don't have to do everything from social media. People's parents have been married. I know your parents have been married for a long time, and so it's like you can see in older generations. That's another thing I was gonna say is that some people don't talk to their older generation, their grandmas, their grandparents. Some of them sadly have passed on as well too, but a lot of them was married, some of them wasn't married, so like all they're seeing is not real relationships. Actually, they're just seeing anything on the media and whatever they want to show you. So being able to have someone that they can see and talk to or go through, I think that's kind of different too. So just being able to highlight that, I want to thank y'all for being a part of the love series.
I just got one last thing to say.
Oh, you go ahead.
So on all of that, what you just said, I would just tell people, number one, learn what righteousness is.
Okay, preacher.
Choose it. Choose righteousness, and then live righteous.
Okay.
So it's not that you're not gonna have issues, but you gonna actually prevent some issues. That's all I'll say.
You said, what was the first righteousness you said?
I say learn what
righteousness is.
But then you have to choose
it,
then
and then live it. Okay, well, that's a great way to end it at. Thank you all so much for being a part, and happy anniversary. Okay, next year, because we're gonna speak to 10 years in existence. Okay. All right, thank y'all.
You're welcome.
Yes.